As women, our teens and 20s should be filled with promise and self-discovery. We begin our journeys to adulthood often by enrolling in university, making friends, and finding our path. In 2006, one vibrant young woman pursuing her degree at a Toronto university was senselessly murdered by an ex-boyfriend in her apartment. If she or those close to her knew of the possible danger she was in, the outcome may have been different. Sadly, this is not an isolated incident, and it could have been any one of us. As a personality researcher, I'm devoting my efforts to evaluating dark personality traits and childhood experiences as predictors of intimate partner violence in adulthood. Intimate partner violence, or IPV, is defined by actual or threatened infliction of physical, psychological, or sexual harm to a partner or spouse. Given its extreme mental and physical health consequences, it's imperative that we better understand the factors underlying IPV. Psychopathy, narcissism, Machiavellianism, and sadism represent a constellation of aversive personality traits known as the dark tetrad. My first objective is to determine whether these dark tetrad traits operate differently in predicting proactive and reactive forms of IPV. I predict that given the psychopathic individual's impulsive tendencies toward aggression, they'll engage in more reactive IPV. Because narcissistic individuals tend to aggress against others when their ego or self-esteem is threatened, I anticipate that they'll engage in IPV as a result of an ego-threatening situation. Finally, I predict that sadistic individuals will engage in IPV regardless of whether or not they're victimized due to their appetites for pleasure-driven cruelty. My research addresses this aim using different samples in both quantitative and qualitative IPV assessments. Although not all children exposed to IPV grow up to be violent, several studies have indicated that exposure to parental violence is a robust risk factor for IPV perpetration in adulthood. Overall, my second objective is to evaluate whether these dark tetrad traits explain the relationships between exposure to parental violence in childhood and to IPV perpetration in adulthood. Overall, my findings will be used to inform treatment programs of the impact of individual differences on IPV perpetration. Additionally, it's important for victims of IPV to be informed of potential red flags associated with these maladaptive characteristics, and for family members, friends, and mental health care providers to support victims in safely ending relationships with these individuals. Thank you.